Okay, welcome everyone to another community StarCraft event brought to you by Logan. That is, of course, me. In this game, we have Lougarou, the red Protoss, against Dredj, or Dredj, I'm going to call him Dredj, on Daybreak LE. So as the game's loading up, just want to talk a little bit. Lougarou won his first match against Dredjable. You can watch those. The videos are all in YouTube, so go ahead and check those out. And Dredj was lucky enough to get placed here with the 14-player player pool. Had to do a little bit of finagling to get everything to work. So this is actually Dredj's first game, and we'll see exactly how this works out. Now Dredj is playing random, so this could be quite interesting. It looks like we're going to have a PvP. Everyone always loves a good PvP. So down here in the bottom left-hand corner is Lougarou. Remember, he is one game up so far. He beat the Terran player Dredjable with a pretty convincing 2-gate robo attack expand kind of build. And we have still yet to see Dredj play, so this will be quite interesting. In terms of production right now, looks like everyone's pretty much standard. A little bit wasted chrono boost here, so not too big of a deal though. Remember, this is Daybreak LE, so we have a narrow choke, a relatively small area on the side to attack through. Not really a big problem, but with Reapers, they only have limited area to work with. Then we have the natural. It's relatively easy to protect. It's not too bad. Then we have this ramp down into the third, and then the destructible rocks down into the main area. The map has a relatively long attack distance. There's a lot of area along the side. You can't abuse this with bling stalkers or anything like that, but air units can do quite a lot of fun. So we see Lougarou going out. Remember, Dredj rolled random, so Lougarou has no idea what he's actually facing up against, whereas Dredj has the ability to just kind of sit back and know that his opponent is Protoss. So interesting, he's going to be walling off. I do believe that is a solid wall. If I had to make a guess, that's what I would say. And we'll see how this goes. Generally, you don't see walling off in PvP games. He's got the early gas going down, which is, Lougarou is actually already mining from his, but it's still a relatively early gas. Oh, that was not a solid wall. Looks like Lougarou is going to get a complete scout, sees the gas going down. One gas going down for Protoss is not actually that much of a tell for much of anything. Just because you need it for stalkers, you need it for warp gate, it doesn't really indicate, let's be honest, all Protoss units are pretty expensive. We do have the Cyber Core coming down for Lougarou. Looks like he's well on track to continue his 2-gate robo build. He has not, oh, there he goes. I was going to say, he hasn't dropped his gas yet, which would be a big indicator that he's going for some sort of tech play. Looks like with that going down, we're very likely to see that come out. And then meanwhile, we have the Cyber Core going down for Dredj. So the Cyber Core is a little bit later, but the second gateway was earlier as well. So it's 1 gate to 2. However, we do have warp gate research and stalkers coming out. So Zealots are actually quite good against stalkers if they can stay in contact with them. So if Dredj decides to throw down some sentries or something of the sort, keep those stalkers from running away, this could go pretty well. I'm going to see if he starts warp gate. Looks like no, not quite sure. Perhaps another gate. He's going to go for 3 gate. No, indecision. Wow. So, getting a little bit of lag here. It's quite awesome. Remember, this is a live game. Remember, it's quite fun to cast live games. We do have an immortal. I say this because this means immortal to me in the early game. With both these gases, we do have the second gate coming down. There is the Robo Bay. It looks like Lougarou does have the army. Actually, doesn't have an army advantage, but he does have the supply advantage with the hefty worker lead. So Dredj has been sacrificing a little bit of his economy in order to get this army out faster. And at this point in time, he does have a much larger army. 2 stalkers Wow, 5 zealots. That's going to be quite. That's quite a lot of microing to worry about. Going with the fast forge, just throwing down the forge rather than a fast one. Just a normal forge. Another gas. She's going to start teching a little bit more with that forge. Go for some upgrades. Going to get the observer out. Got to make sure you keep tabs on what the Joneses are doing. Lougarou has been doing quite well at his macro. 29 workers to 17. That's almost twice as many. Oh, and throwing down another. Wow, so 3-gate robo. At this point, it's not quite all in, but this is definitely a 1-base pressure build. I would like to see Lougarou throw down some sort of an expansion here in a little bit. Another pylon, getting some good vision of the edge just in case things are coming. The extra split second can really make a difference. Looks like he's contemplating throwing down a proxy pylon. Warp gate is finishing up. However, there's only 2 gates, so got to keep that in mind. Also, there's not tons of economy behind it. So the army size is still in favor of Dredj, but keep in mind, Lougarou's got the economy behind it, has a much higher supply. And he will have the ability to reinforce faster because he's got 3 gates and a robo. So, got a lot of stalker, getting an immortal. Dredj admitting he's a manly man. Real men, by the way, admit when they're scared or when they have feelings. That's just how it works. There's no shame in that. Warping into warp gates, throwing in a ninja expand. So this wasn't a proxy pylon. This is actually it's almost a proxy base. We have the units wandering around. Lougarou does have quite a good feel on what exactly is going on. Looks like he's going to be throwing down an expansion. That's a great idea. Is going to take that worker lead and continue to press it up to 35 to 17. So he's actually quite oversaturated in his main right now. We do have the army holding this watchtower. Remember, this is quite a lot of zealots, though. Zealots can make short work of sentries. This immortal, though, will do a substantial amount of damage to the other stalkers. It will really come down to the control of this engagement. It's a really kind of difficult call. It just all will come down to control. So, looks like we have another immortal coming out. This will help reinforce this quite a bit. The players playing quite evenly, both of them, and around 80 APM, doing quite well. Deciding he needs to chrono boost all the workers, but wait for this. Okay, we have a big engagement. I like to see them spread out. There are some cannons on the high ground. The zealots are being able to come forward, and Lougarou really needs to be able to throw down some force fields to protect his units. There. Now the zealots took out 1 sentry and I think a stalker. Units lost tab. It's definitely going in the favor of Dredj, actually, but however, now that the zealots are gone, the immortals will really be able to start tanking things. 2 immortals should actually be able to take all this out by themselves. So the 2 immortals doing tons of damage, the stalker count being reduced by quite a bit, but immortals with the bonus damage they have to armor is very, very brutal. He needs to pull back this immortal that's needlessly being hurt. However, there's another one back here. Looking at what he's got behind this, he's got a lot of stalkers or sentries back here. But it looks like just these 2 should be able to break down this front door. Still not able to warp in anything. He's got just a little bit of... Luckily, this was not an Artosis pylon. Looks like Lougarou is being driven back. He's feeling quite content with the damage that he's done. No, he is now going to warp back in. He really needs to be warping in zealots. Immortals just do so much damage against stalkers. We were doing some nice micro there. I actually don't know if the immortal can fit through these. Look at that. There we go. The zealot taking additional damage as it comes in, but not taking additional damage from that immortal. Looks like some reinforcements coming in to help. Just hate to see him continue warping in stalkers that take so much additional damage from immortals. It's 20 to zealots and 50 to armored. So looks like Dredj acknowledging that his home base is probably going to go down at some point, and he's now going to simply run past with every single one of his workers. Oh, but they're all getting caught. The immortal's saying, "It's fine, I got this. It's fine, guys." The sentries throwing down the guardian shield is not actually productive or useful at all for melee attacks. However, I'd like to point out that we have 4 tickle beams, and you only actually notice when the immortal shoots and the damage. I guess we have 5 tickle beams, but only 4 shooting. So it looks like the game... Lougarou thinks the game is just about over. For all intents and purposes, it may well be. However, there is a hidden expansion that Lougarou knows nothing about. Notice that it didn't say anything about someone being revealed. Oh, shield! He needs that upgrade not quite being able to finish, which is quite a devastating blow. Looks like Lougarou, in the meantime, has been getting more workers. His worker count is now up to 48 to 7. He does have upgrades going down. It looks like he's planning on double ups. Taking your opponent's 4th and or 5th base is always a little bit gutsy. However, Lougarou, he doesn't know where the other base is. However, he does know that he's taken out quite a bit of the opponent's army and infrastructure. So, leaving 1 immortal here. It's fine, guys. This building's not going to do me any harm, and I'll take it out, no problem. Once again, checking out the APM. Lougarou getting up to around 100 APM. Both players starting to play quite a bit faster. And both are continuing to macro. It looks like Lougarou going for the Templar Archives, potentially, or Twilight Council, and another Robo Bay. The Twilight Council probably for Blink. Like to see that go down. Or perhaps he just wants double upgrades. Now that, remember, the Twilight Council does enable the +2 and +3 upgrades. Also, looks like no more rally point on this particular Nexus. So we got three workers kind of chilling. You got these guys guarding every point. Looks like Lougarou is now starting to try to find where in the world this other base went. So he's now starting to check every single place. Dredj, in the meantime, is macroing his guts out, trying to get enough workers. Very wisely going with Zealots. Remember, he doesn't have any gas income. And Zealots are quite good against Immortals and Stalkers. However, with the force fields, though, it could be a problem. It looks like 3 Stalkers are going to come up here. They'll probably be driven back. It's going to almost lose one of those Stalkers. That was good control. We have 3 Warp Gates. He has enough money. And here we go. See another Warp-in cycle. The army supplies, I see this fight going pretty one-sided, but you always got to commend person for giving it their all. Now that Lougarou has determined the actual location, he is just continuing to amass his army. He does have... Oh, he's got throwing down the Anytime Dark Shrine. I love it. They call it the Anytime Dark Shrine because, especially in Wings of Liberty, there's basically no reason... there's never any standard time to throw it on a Dark Shrine. There's never any build. There is a good potential little engagement here. Got a whole strike force worth of Zealots running straight in. They should target down these Immortals. The Immortals were on move command. The Immortals will not stand a chance. However, now it's going to turn into a base race. But Lougarou's attention back home, he now is controlling it. He's going to take this down. He's going to be suffering losses back unless he starts warping in. I would call these workers back. I think at this point it doesn't really matter. Immortals just simply destroying buildings. The Zealots making short work of a lot of workers. Excellent. Lowered the worker count by almost 20 just then, which is excellent work. However, with no other bases on the map, it looks like Lougarou is going to take this one just through a base race. So, doing their dangest to take down this Nexus. These Stalkers right here are going to try to drive them off. However, this is the only remaining building, and it looks like Dredj is going to go down to Lougarou. So, congratulations, Lougarou, for your now 2 straight wins and a continued presence in the winner's bracket. And good luck to Dredj in the loser's bracket. So we'll be excited to watch more games from these fellows as the game and the tournament progresses.